Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I'm Garrett Weinzer, and with me, as always, is Kyle Ferguson. How you doing today, Kyle?
Doing well. We're a day early.
Yeah, we are, and in a couple hours early as well. We're recording this on an off day. You're heading to a wedding tomorrow. I'm heading to Dragon Con. A bunch of crazy stuff has happened. We're going to miss each other. You're going to be in Florida, and I'm going to Georgia.
I know. It's a whirlwind trip. I'm doing the old red-eye thing. Got my snacks and my video games ready for that because there won't be sleep. The only time you can sleep is during takeoff because that's the only time those chairs are actually reclined to any degree.
Okay.
So the second I sit in that chair, it's a race to fall asleep because that's the only time you get a decent nap in.
Man, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. It's that's never fun. I can't stand like 3-hour layovers. I can't imagine having to do that plus a red eye plus you're getting into Florida so late.
Yeah, but this is what 2 of 4 weddings down now. So I've got one more in between when I come to yours, and that one I'll actually be in town for a week, so that'll be fun.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. So was that because you already had your sisters?
Mm-hmm.
This one was right. Okay, I didn't know about this mysterious third, and then mine's the fourth apparently. So
yeah, you're the last.
I'm the last, I guess. All right,
bringing
cool.
up the rear.
Yeah, but that's how I like to do it.
But what's a Dragon Con?
I just want to go to Dragon Con.
Sweet.
I've always wanted to go. I'll be attending Justin Robert Young's wedding because it's going to be at Dragon Con, so why not?
That's awesome. Inside Dragon Con?
Yeah, they're doing a panel. He does a podcast with his fiance, soon to be bride, and they're doing that, and they're having their wedding. I guess it's a loophole in the system because, to my knowledge, one of the big things in bold print on Dragon Con's website is no weddings. So I think they've found a way to game the system by being like, no, it's part of the podcast. It's just how, it's just how it's going.
All right.
So I'm excited for that. That should be fun. Should be a good
Dragon
time.
Con, I'm completely out of the loop. I missed PAX this past weekend, and I was upset about that. But Dragon Con is more comics, right?
Yeah, it's really it is like the go-to convention for cosplay on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
But it's a big over-encompassing, just big nerd fest. They're expecting over 65,000 attendees this year.
You dressing up?
God, no. I had no time. I didn't know I was going until last week. I don't have time for that stuff. I'm planning a wedding, man.
All right, fair enough, yes. Use the costume in the wedding. It's a Halloween party, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so my Heroes Week has been interesting. As a lot of folks that listen to this probably know, we had the 100th episode of The Angry Chicken this week, and that ate up a lot of my time real estate. I had very little of it to go around, and a lot of it got eaten up by the 100th episode, so I haven't gotten in very many Heroes Leagues games this week, and the ones I have gotten in have not been particularly great. I've had folks making some questionable decisions. Mm-hmm. I may have made a questionable decision or two myself. And really, Kyle, I just want to know, is it lonely in your tower that you're sitting in? This man, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Ferguson of StarCast and Into the Nexus fame, refuses to play Hero League with anyone but himself because he just loves the smell of his own brand that much.
No, it comes from experience. The placement matches were really long. There was 20 of them. I got bored along the way. I couldn't actually tell what rank I was going to be at or where I was sitting. So I joined up with quite a few people, and I played 5 games, 3 with my wife and 2 with you, I believe.
Yeah.
And we just tanked. Oh my God, did we get whooped. I lost those games handily. So I have been, not too into stacking up to go into Heroes League. But I did finish my placement matches this week. I got into rank 8. And then yesterday on Solo Q&A, I shot up to rank 2.
Nice. Well, congrats, man. I mean, you're totally high on yourself and you're an ass, but congrats.
Yeah, well, I know I threw you under the bus a little bit. And I do feel bad. There's the guy who usually eats it towards the end of the movie and the audience cheers for is usually that guy who's like riding away and someone says, save me, and he goes, and like rides off and saves his own skin. Or I feel like that Zeratul who threw everyone in a bubble and got out safely.
See, I'm personally just done with Quick Match. I have no interest in it really whatsoever unless I have an interest in learning a new hero. And at the moment, I have no interest in learning a new hero, so Quick Match is dead to me. So when you said, yeah, let's play together, but only quick match, I was just like, no. I don't want to play that.
Fair enough. I have a lot of fun in quick match because I'm constantly working on new things, whereas Heroes League is serious business. And in fact, if you watched yesterday's solo Q&A, I played nothing but Skeleton King. And I've been playing nothing but Skeleton King and a little bit of Uther in there. And that's because, like we talked about last week with the double warrior meta, it is still a thing. People are still stacking that against you. And by taking away Skeleton King, I either make the comp with Johanna on my team, or I completely counter it. Thereby, it never happens in the first place.
I was about to ask if, because I don't usually watch your show. Nothing against you. It's an amazing show.
We hang out enough, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you, and I'm glad I didn't, because I was going to blindly go, so, are you a talentless piece of crap and queued nothing but Skeleton King this week?
Apparently I am. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because I'm so sick of seeing Skeleton Kings, man. It's like driving me up a wall.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with him right now. Well, you can, because a lot of people don't know how to solo tank as him. It's something I did a lot of research, watched some MVP Black. Other guys, the whole replay wipe was a real big bummer for me because I really wanted to learn Skeleton King. Hotslogs has a feature where you can search for replays by date, and I ended up digging up a couple of high-ranked people and watching them and getting a good feel of how to like stutter step, what combo to kind of use, in what order to use my abilities. And I just excelled at being a solo Skeleton King tank this week, which a lot of people aren't good at.
Well, that's cool, man. And I was honestly, that was going to be a joke I was leading with. I am sick of seeing Skeleton Kings, but they're not super easy to play. Don't take that line to heart, everyone out there listening. Save your emails.
Nope, we need some love to the other tanks for sure.
No, absolutely. Freaking ETC and Stitches, man, are still pretty much dead in the water. Like, I'd really like to see them get some love.
Yeah, and I just want to see more durable characters. Right now, it's all burst. It's Valas, Jaina's, Kael'thas's. Tychus, for some reason, I don't know what I missed, but I've been seeing a ton of them in rank 2 at the moment.
Really?
And yeah, being an Uther and having to heal 3 squishes, I'm just someone Raynor, someone even Butcher, Kerrigan, like, give me either one target that I absolutely have to Divine Shield every single fight, or get some durable guys on my team so I can ignore half of you and take care of the rest. Hovering, it's so stressful, hovering in the middle of 4 people, all of which want your sweet lovin', and you only have so much to give out.
I know that feeling. I've been there. I've been falling kind of back in love with Brightwing again. Her buffs were needed. And I love Blink Heal, because if there's 2 people that really need a heal quickly, you can do it. And you also have a shield. So,
well, and the other way to counter that double warrior meta right now is to outmaneuver it. And Brightwing is actually making a comeback in that spot and working really well.
Oh, absolutely. And to outdamage them. I mean, as we were... I feel like we're jumping the gun here, but I watched the MSI tournament at PAX this past weekend and watched MVP Black just... I don't know, literally break through the wall of the meta. Just like, we don't care, it's an entirely different meta in South Korea. Enjoy it, because they just out damaged everyone. Like, they were taking Arthas, which was it's a warrior that does high damage. They took Brightwing, which is a healer that does surprisingly high damage at least in a burst because of Arcane Flare.
Yeah.
It was.
I think too, Brightwing, despite her very tiny spit attacks, she gets a ton of auto attacks in because she has to constantly be on top of the group. Whereas melee classes like Rhaegar and Uther are too busy hovering around in the back, making sure they don't die.
Yeah. No. So, anyways, I feel like if we stay here any longer, we're going to talk too much about it. So let's get right into this week's not into the Nexus news, Heroes of the Storm news.
We're on, boys! Ha ha! Let's liven up this place!
The moment is upon us.
Yes, I'd mana tap that.
Yes, you would. Reminder, folks, you can go to itncast.reddit.com to check out our subreddit, submit stories, or talk about some of the stuff we're talking about here today. First up is the ranked play change. Heroes community manager Spirian made a post on the official forum yesterday alerting us to all of the multiple changes made to the placement and ranking system. He said, quote, "With today's update, we've made improvements for placement in the mid to lower ranks, which should result in less conservative placement for players in this range. boy, Kyle, I really wish I had waited. Because, yeah, it's... I went from 16 to 27, I think.
How's your bonus points doing?
Terrible, because I'm losing.
So have you had a win? How many are you averaging?
I'm not doing well. Like I said, I didn't play very many Heroes League games this week, which means I haven't played that many since I placed, and it hasn't been going well.
Gotcha. So we all know that they placed us conservatively.
Yeah.
And placed us much lower than you were supposed to. And then the bonus system, which is very giving at the moment, is supposed to rocket you back up where you should belong unless, your MMR was a mistake in the first place.
Yeah.
And then you should remain where you are. So that's a shame to hear.
Yeah. The very first Hero League game I played was just a raffle stomp. And it was hilarious because, I don't know, first guy on our team took the Zebo, then I took Zagara, and the last guy was just screaming, "Oh my God, double first pick specialist, how dare you, no Nazebo, no Zagara, we're gonna lose." And then he takes Chen, so I'm looking at him just like, what do you know about the meta? And then we proceed to just destroy the other team because of the two specialists. So I don't know what's going on. I either win with no contest or lose horribly. So it's strange.
That makes sense.
Feels very weird. On the bright side, I haven't seen a double tank yet in my recent games, so that's good.
The snowball potential of the heroes right now, particularly with the Kael'thas's, it's so funny to see Kael'thas's and everyone yells, "Look out, level 13!" They didn't really change much. We're still yelling a particular talent. We're like, "Here comes Ignite! Oh no!" It's still happening.
Well, it used to be level 16 for Kael'thas. Now it is level 13 when the Living Bomb spreads. So you do want to watch out for that.
So, everyone starts freaking out that level. That's, along with some of the newer heroes, they definitely gain a ton of power at those 13, 16 marks. So the game continues to be snowballing, and the only way to combat that is communication, which isn't going to happen in the lower leagues, hence why you probably have such one-sided matches.
Yeah. Yeah, now that I think about the one with the Nazebo, we were kind of raffle stomp. The two of us were communicating very well and just dominating the Merc game. So...
Are you down on Chen's?
No, I'm not down on Chen's. I'm just the first. If you're going to make all these assumptions based off the meta and then you pick an off-meta pick, I'm confused.
Okay, that's fair enough. Because I, see a Chen, I go, wow, this guy probably plays nothing but Chen. Welcome to the club. But I agree, there are those people. I had a Thrall yelling at a Brightwing yesterday, and he was saying, why don't you pick a real healer? And we're going, what the Thrall? You got
Thrall.
10 deaths. What's...
Yeah, no. I'm sorry, that probably came out wrong. I'm not coming down on Chen's. I've seen some great ones, and this guy was okay. He did a perfectly fine job. I was just taken aback, because here's this guy raising all kinds of stinks, citing the meta, whatever that may be, as his as the basis for his concern, and then he goes and hey man, Skeleton King was still up for grabs. What are you doing?
Right. I mean, Luke Skywalker disobeys orders, turns off his targeting computer, flies into the trench by himself. He doesn't even know Han Solo's there, right, to save his butt.
Right.
I mean, if he had messed up, we all would just gone, oh, freaking noob. Because it worked out for him, he was the hero of our story. Not everyone gets to be Luke Skywalker, damn it. Some of us have to be Red 2 telling him to get the hell out of there.
Man, I am, welling up with how beautiful that Star Wars analogy was, man. Well
You're
played. So, also, I kind of mentioned it, but just to put a period at the end of this ranked play change bit, bonus points are back. They're in the rank system. You're now going to get extra points if your MMR is higher than your current rank. However, this only applies if you are rank 5 or higher.
Right, otherwise the bonus points were always there in the first place.
Were
so
they?
Now, rank 5 to 1, which didn't have any bonus points, has them back. I welcome them. It's how I got to 2 so fast.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. I read that wrong. I was taking that as they weren't in the lower leagues. But no, that makes sense. Which explains my confusion, because I was like, didn't last week we talked about... So never mind.
Right, this directly addresses what VP's problem was.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I thought his problem was that you weren't on his team.
That was it, yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
That I wouldn't queue with him because I refused to play solo, or not solo.
And then just today, we were alerted that coming in the next Heroes of the Storm patch, there will be a new restriction placed on Hero League party size. You're no longer going to be able to queue as a party over 2 members in Hero League. So what this means is that you either play Hero League alone or with one friend, or you're Garrett and your friend is Kyle, so you play alone no matter what happens. And then if you're a 3 or 4 stack, you can only play in Quick Match. And if you're 5 stack, you can only play in Team League. So, direct quote from the post, they said that parties of 3 and 4 players appear in Hero League queues far less often than solo players in parties of 2. As such, we feel that large parties represent a small enough portion of ranked games that we're comfortable removing them from Heroes League in order to improve overall match quality. So that's kind of why they did it. This exact thing was brought up in all of the discussion that we talked about last week, people's issues with certain ways that Hero League works. So, are you happy about this change, Kyle?
Absolutely. Mainly because of what they said in this post, and that stacks of 4 get with a solo person. That's not fair to that solo person in the first place. But also, those 4 stack people are most likely on voice chat, and they're not willing to take the time to type out or include that last person in. And therefore, you have a bad match.
Well, communication's so key, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, for those that were willing to bridge that gap, address their solo companion, that's a shame. There's a lot of people out there who are doing, I have 2 friends, we meet up at night, that's all the friends I have. I don't want to get 2 more people together. And they're going to suffer because this is all happening next patch, whenever that might be. 2 weeks out would be my guess.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Who are we getting? Rexar next, right?
Yeah, Rexar's slated for the 8th, actually.
Yeah, so that's
according to the data mine.
That's not even 2 weeks out.
But,
yeah, that seems really soon. I could see the 15th. I could see the 15th being it. That's when I'm assuming. If it comes next Tuesday, hell yeah, color me impressed. But I don't know, man. Oh,
it just seems odd to turn off the event for Diablos right after releasing, Infernal Shrines. It's like the guy at the party that won't stop skipping songs because he gets embarrassed about his music choices.
True. Man, you're on point with those analogies today.
I still want solo only. That's my only gripe with this, because I do see 2 stacks and they can be so weird. Like having that Rhaegar that is in love with his Jaina buddy, and you're just going, Jaina is not the one you need to be, spreading all them heals on. I don't want to see Ancestral Healing land on a Jaina because he's your friend.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of get that, but also you have to understand that most people trust playing games with their friends.
Right.
I'm going to rip on you for this for a while.
No, go for it. I threw you under the bus, man. You had bad games because I wasn't willing to play with you, What are you going to do?
No, I said that off stream. I don't know how true that was. We could have had just a repeat of our placement games.
Right, but it is sad that I wasn't willing to join you. And, that is worth a bit of ridicule because it does work for me. My solo queues are excellent, and I have great games, and I want to preserve that environment.
So, in other big news this week, we're kind of we're gearing up for the American Championship. The August qualifiers are over. So it's time to really look forward to the America's Championship. It's going to be in Las Vegas on September 19th and the 20th. We're going to see 8 teams move on to that to see who advances to the World Championship at BlizzCon in November. So we're going to see Tempo Storm, Cloud9, Cognitive, Complexity, Murloc Geniuses. That's my favorite team name here by far. We're also going to see the Latin America champions, Brave Ozone, the Southeast Asia champions, Relics, and the Australia/New Zealand champions, Immunity White. Those are going to be the 8 teams going to the qualifier in Las Vegas. So if you haven't been keeping up, really the team to keep an eye on is Tempo Storm, because they are the reigning champions by far. They've had 3 consecutive wins. They won in June, July, and August at the Opens. Now, we talked a little bit at the top of the show about MVP Black, and if you're not up to date on that as well, they played in the MSI tournament that we very briefly mentioned last week. It happened this past weekend at PAX, and that MSI tournament was a big deal because we had teams from multiple different nations all competing in the same tournament. So far, everything has been more or less region locked, for lack of a better word. If you want to see South Korean teams, you have to go watch South Korean tournaments. If you want to see North American teams, you have to go watch North American tournaments, so on and so forth. So MVP Black made a huge splash because Tempo Storm has been so impressive. And to us here at the North American audience, we thought that they were just going to sweep, and it looked like they were going to because they made it to the finals with really very little pushback against them. And MVP Black got in there, took a bunch of picks that we're not used to seeing here in the North American meta, and just stomped them.
Even Team Liquid from Europe had some really interesting picks in that. And to talk about the PAX thing for a little bit, it was a very cool event. They suffered from a lot of issues from being at a convention, which was a shame, because we were all really excited to see Heroes at PAX for one, which had an amazing showing.
Yeah.
Heroes really dominated the majority of the booths, like NVIDIA, the MSI booth, of course. We even had a larger crowd than League of Legends. Let's not, compete on esports terms, but that's pretty cool that despite their huge dedicated fan base, Heroes was able to bring over people who were curious about the game.
Yeah. I did hear from some folks that actually were lucky enough to attend. I can't believe where you live and you didn't get to go. That the issue of space was just awful at PAX. Like, everything was tiny. They were, all of these different esports tournaments, the areas that they were in were very small and couldn't accommodate a lot of people.
Yeah, the whole convention suffered from some internet issues throughout its entire duration, which was a shame. For us watching at home, we just want to see the games, and there were some odd choices in some of the casting pairs up, guys who hadn't worked well together. Of course, for the main events, we had, Solid Jake up there doing his thing, with his partner, so everything was good for those. The music was too loud at times. They didn't mic the crowd. All these sort of beginner mistakes that were coming from watching other esports and going, how did you miss these things? And that made it kind of a shame. Plus, the Chinese team, E-Star, couldn't get in because they couldn't get visas. So MVP Black automatically advanced, and that kind of left some of the brackets a little lame. Like the semifinals came down to Tempo Storm versus Cloud9, which we've all seen 100 times because they're both American teams.
Yeah, which was sad. And Cloud9 ended up doing really well. I mean, they took third place. But
sure, and Cloud9's always going to do well. I've been following them a lot because of their old Dota team. And I know they have a great regiment that they're going to practice with. So I think we'll always see a bit of Cloud9 in there.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, and look at the top 8 that are going to the qualifier in Las Vegas that we just talked about. Tempo Storm and Cloud9 right there up front and center.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I had the majority of the tournament on kind of in the background, and then I flipped it on for the 3rd and 4th place match and the finals and really made sure to sit down and watch it. So I had a slightly different viewing experience than everyone else. I saw what were, I guess, the important matches, and so I didn't really pay attention to Tempo Storm versus Cloud9, so I was kind of just like, whatever. I didn't really think about it, but you make a good point. That is something we've seen a million times before.
And it's just a shame the brackets worked out that way.
Yeah. That said, holy crap, MVP Black. I want to see more South Korean freaking heroes play.
They're very optimized, aren't they?
Yeah, and it just... I feel like it was a really good showcasing of... I don't know, of... You know me, I get kind of... I'm very quick to get bored when a meta stagnates in any game. I'm loving Hearthstone right now because, hooray, new cards. And I was getting kind of to the point with heroes where I'm like, man, could everyone just try some new heroes? Could we see if some new things could work? And I was so happy that this tournament happened and that we had a team like MVP get in there and showcase just a ton of heroes we're not used to seeing played, and then also take the damn first place grand prize with these bizarre compositions. And also, I'm an Arthas fan, so huzzah. They picked Arthas multiple times in the finals and they won.
Yeah.
So that was pretty dope. So I had a really good time with it. I heard all the complaints, but I am biased, so I had a really good time.
Well, and you came in later. A lot of the issues were fixed. You got to expect these things at these sort of live events that aren't done in a studio with people who are constantly practiced at doing exactly this. Live on location, things are going to go wrong. And let's all be a little forgiving about it.
Oh, yeah. Also, we haven't mentioned the award ceremony at the end. It's terrible.
It always is.
How have we not figured this out?
I don't know, dude. The International couldn't pull it off. They had dead mouse up there, and everyone was confused as heck. There needs to be signs, warning bells, something. You gotta let off the fireworks. I don't know. Don't try to interview them. Let them celebrate. Get them off stage as fast as possible.
Yeah, just do the NFL thing. Just a bunch of confetti, have the winning team run out, just give them their damn trophy, just get like random crowd shots of them losing their minds, and just end it. If you want to have interviews with the teams and give everyone their pride, like their moment of glory, do it after the fact.
Right, those interviews with the pro players, the football players, the big stars. I'm not going to name any because I don't know any. Has Peyton Manning maybe? I don't. He's like in Subway commercials, right? They're crying, which is what makes their interview exciting. But what they actually have to say about playing 110% and, we played so good and I love my team, that's not interesting.
No.
And now we get a bunch of introverted nerds getting interviewed. They're not going to cry on stage. Some of them look like they don't even know where they are. They aren't even aware of the money they have just won.
Well, yes. Well, everyone's seen me after either a bad loss or a very hard-fought win. I'm just like, just don't talk to me. Leave me alone for a second. I need to decompress.
Right. Take a knee, fist on the forehead kind of thing.
I just need to think about this for a minute, okay? I'm just trying to take everything
Check out
in.
last week's after show game for one of those. Jeez.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine if I also just won, a bunch of money on top of that game that was hard to win. So I'm not judging these people. I'm just saying, maybe just lots of confetti, maybe some champagne, throw the trophy at them and end it.
Yep.
Have interviews after the fact that are ancillary content that you can go find on the YouTube or whatever. So anyway, other than that, I don't know. I had a really good time. Like I said, I mean, what I wanted was to see South Korean meta go up against NA meta, and that's exactly what I got, and I couldn't have been happier. So I had a really good time with it. Any other takeaways you want to talk about, Kyle?
Not really from that event. The August Open, of course, happened, and a lot of people have been analyzing that as to what we're going to see, come these grand finals or, the American Championship in Las Vegas, which is looking pretty cool. It's free entry. You can get tickets if you're, just kind of want to get preferred entry and not get blocked out so they can sell select seats. You get a free, if you show up, you get, what is it, the Malfurion Illidan skin?
Yeah, the Shando Illidan skin. He basically makes him look like Illidan or Malfurion. They're also going to be giving away all kinds of stuff, including BlizzCon tickets. So
yeah,
I mean, if I lived close to this, I would be totally stoked and going just because I enjoy Heroes Esports. But unfortunately, I live in Florida, so that ain't happening. And I've already got BlizzCon tickets. So
little short notice, a little close to BlizzCon, weddings, all that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, that too. That.
We won't be in attendance in this thing, but it does look like they're putting together a pretty darn good show. But some of the big takeaways from the analysis that happened over at TeamLiquid.net of the August Open is just the sheer dedication to certain heroes we have right now in the American meta, and that is Zeratul, Zagara, and Kael'thas, all of which were picked or banned across every single 31 game played.
Yeah. Which just makes me so happy because those are three heroes I really enjoy playing.
Okay.
And then also makes me sad because I've seen multiple articles this week talking about just how great Zagara is and why Zagara is great, and it all comes down to two things, which is her sight from creep tumors and the wombo combos that you can get off with her maw. And you can back me up on this. So far this episode, we've just been kind of joking about how I've had terrible luck and I'm not as good as you. I can land a maw like nobody's freaking business, and I have watched so many beautiful maws go to waste in my Hero League games this week. One of them,
a bunch of them, and everyone just dances around, not making work of it.
Yeah, and the one that broke my heart the most was somehow, this only happens when you and I play together, somehow ended up in a game in Hero League where I was Zagara, and also on our team was a Gazlo. And I'm like, oh yes, come on, man, just gravity bomb on top of my maw, let's do this. And not once did it happen.
Oh, no good Gazlo.
Just killing me. Absolutely killing. Broke my Zergy heart. So
I found my anti-Gazlo hate statement, which is, quote unquote, Gazlo is the madness. And for some reason, of everything I can try to explain, try to do like I understand, you see a lot of bad Gazlows. Something about just saying simply Gazlo is the madness has let me play Gazlo more in Heroes League than any other statement.
Yeah, because last time I talked to you, I don't think it was on Into the Nexus. I was asking you who you've been playing, and you're just like, well, no Gazlo, man. It's too much rage. I can't do it. I can't deal with it. Oh, no, I think it was on the show, because I think now I distinctly remember saying, well, that would just make me want to pick him more.
Right. I'm a little non-confrontational about it, so I tend to dodge right out of there. But man, do that up front and then scream top NA Gazlo when it's over, when you're top damage and you beat the Jaina and the Kael'thas. Hell yes.
Guys, you don't understand. Kyle's Gazlo is a force of nature. It's
so
really good.
To be associated with Gazlo. It seems like whenever someone's talking about me on an episode, it's a picture of Gazlo.
If you see Tarask on your team in Hero League, let him take the Gazlo. Sit down, shut up, and enjoy the ride.
Let me do it, man. But apparently I'm not spreading the love hard enough because there are still a lot of haters that aren't, I guess, remembering me, or there's other people that come along and ruin it for me in the background. So
that can happen, man. But yeah, I feel you there. I feel you. I've been really wanting since you coached me in Rainer, which patrons, if you haven't already, go to patreon.com/ITN and check out Kyle reviewing my Rainer replays. I've been wanting to play him, and he's another one that gets a lot of crap in Hero League because people don't realize how good he can be.
And he just got buffed, so give that time.
Yeah.
He's climbing fast on hot slogs. Other
Yes,
things
he
we
should.
saw at the August Open, Nazebo picked in a ton of games with Ravenous Spirit and Zombie Wall builds. Jaina, reduced rate actually. She was actually ignored in 8 games, which is a huge change from the July Opens.
So her losing sprint is a huge culprit for that.
Right, because she can't flank anymore. And
No.
that was really what people were using him for. That and the Water Elemental slowing on Dispatch made that flank actually strong.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you want to, it's too risky. I mean, you can because yes, all her abilities slow. But if you miss and one person catches you, and that hero also happens to have a way to disable you, so the rest of the team can catch up, you're just dead, and you've given them a free kill.
Exactly. And so we're seeing a lot of Ring of Frost because of that. But you need something to set it up with, and that's mostly Zagara ults at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is why we're seeing even more of her.
I've seen some really good Ring of Frost in my games, though, and not even with a setup. Just Jaina doesn't know exactly where to throw it, and they time it perfectly. A lot of kind of defensive, because you'll see Kael'thas's do defensive Phoenixes if someone's pushing on a wall, and I'm seeing Ring of Frost used in the same way, and it's quite effective.
We'll see what happens there. I'm still a little convinced that that's just inexperience on a lot of people's parts. They see the thing on the ground, they go, what is this? And they end up running. It's the same thing that's going to happen over time with Phoenix. It's why we're seeing more and more Pyroblast. We even saw, I think, 4 Pyroblast picks in the August Open. You're just going to see Phoenix. You're going to realize, oh, it does splash damage, but it's only targeting one target at a time. Let's all walk through it. It's kind of like Rainer's Hyperion right now. Lots of people scatter, get divided up, and then picked off because they're trying to stand outside of it. But if we all stood in it together, we're giving it more targets. It's not hitting everybody then, and maybe that's the better choice. Again, we're just seeing a lot of Rainer now.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hyperion, man. Hyperion on Infernal Shrines. It's beautiful.
Hyperion, in general, is going to give you amazing damage numbers, and it'll always be better for making you look good over Banshees. But Banshees is, of course, a skilled little trait. If you can actually maneuver them, I think you'll get more done. Pick off real people.
And I was about to say, and at some point, maybe now is the time, maybe not. I feel like we should have a discussion about being top damage versus actually contributing to the team fight.
Right.
Because like Hyperion, yeah, it's going to pad your numbers like crazy, but Banshees, you will actually be able to erase somebody. Which
right,
exactly. I prefer Banshees. I would rather have one person removed from the fight faster than have more damage overall, but have less of a single target impact.
And we just need, detailed graphs for that sort of thing. I'd love to see what percentage of the damage was actually dealt to the tanks, or if we looked at the tank stat, where their damage came from, particularly who.
Yeah.
Because if you're the Rainer, you got Giant Killer, but you're wailing on Johanna, probably not the right target in that case.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
But your damage numbers are going to look great.
Yeah, I do, dude. I do that at the end in game. I'll admit it. At the end of games where I'm Zagara and I know we're gonna lose, and I'm just kind of getting annoyed, and there's a Skeleton King just sieging everything. I'm just like, whatever. Both Mutalisks on him. I'm just gonna look good. If I'm going down,
Right.
I'm gonna look good while doing it.
And ain't nothing wrong with that. At least you're staying in the game. I say.
Well, exactly. As I have to find my fun if the game is going south, and that happens to be it. And sometimes I get to kill the Skeleton King, and it makes me happy.
He dies. He does die.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people. I still see so many Skeleton Kings that I feel like they put too much stock in their Wraith Walk. It's okay to pop that thing earlier than you think you should because your body's still back there taking damage.
Well, that's one of the big things I learned this past week was I'm taking Hardened Bones, so I get the 25% reduced damage dealt to me while I'm Wraith Walking. And I, in fact, pop it extremely early. One, to just dodge a whole bunch of stuns and stuff that might come my way. But two, I use it to reposition, not get out during that time.
Right. No, you're using it, I think, the right way then. That might be the next hero. I was so excited about him, bought him, barely really touched him. I think I need to get in, learn him, because he just seems like the correct pick at the moment. And I want to get up to the point where Kyle will deem me worthy. So.
Do it, dude. I mean, if you can take away a meta pick, I'm all for playing exactly what you want, but there is strategy involved in not playing an OP hero, but taking it away from the other team and being a better X than the other team could have been. Mm-hmm. That's going to help you win.
You're absolutely right. Same reason I started learning Kael'thas. It just so happens that I ended up liking him as well. A lot of times I end up learning meta picks and not really enjoying them. But... yeah, so we'll see. Maybe I'll force you to show me the ropes on Skeleton King.
There we go. I like that. Sometime I'm going to make you sit down and play Abathur with me, though.
That too. I'm just in no hurry because that's never gonna become my regular pick, regardless of what happens.
Sure.
So, shall we move on to Dustin Browder's tweets? Which at this point we should just get a bumper for.
Yeah, we should.
Dustin Browder tweets.
Terrible, terrible damage has to be in there at some point.
Terrible, terrible damage. Destructible rocks.
That was it. That was it right there. Just add a little music. It's done.
Done. First and foremost, apparently there is going to be no StarCraft event this year, but obviously they do have some StarCraft heroes coming. That's one of the tweets that Dustin Browder put out this week in reply to someone asking about the upcoming content.
Yeah, we actually got a link in the chat room that says we are correct in that data mine number. The Diablo event will be ending September 8th.
Does that also mean that meta treasure goblin achievement or daily whatever, kill 50 treasure goblins?
That would make sense.
Oh, I think I still
it's just a portrait. You're not missing out on too much.
But I want it.
I know.
And I think I might only be like 3 away.
I got my Malthael steed, so I'm happy with the event.
I had a weird stint when I was still doing my placement matches where I think like 5 games in a row there was no treasure goblin. I'm like, really? Come on.
You guys are playing too much. Someone.
Exactly.
Someone quit and let someone do play. That's always kind of relaxing, though, because I go, oh, everyone's warmed up. Awesome.
Yeah. On the subject of being able to gift friends items from the Hero Store, Browder said that this is something that he wants to fix, but it won't be for a bit. Nobody is working on that today, but I love the feature. Something I would really like, but I can live without. That'd be great for the show. We could give away heroes like that we don't have codes for.
Mm-hmm.
We could just be like, this week, we'll buy a hero and give it away. It's something we could do. Especially with their sales. It'd be cool if we could pick up like a skin when it's on sale and give it away every week.
Right, particularly with the holidays coming up, that sort of thing. Kind of exciting. But you can still do the Battle.net gift card. It's just kind of dirty. It's extra steps when you just want to get your friend into this darn game by sending him something you think will be cool.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot they're WoW players. And they buy a mount instead of getting some heroes to play with you. And Heroes of the Storm. And you're like, no, that's not what this was for, man. So, Dustin Browder was asked, any plans to make Hero League games cancel if someone doesn't choose a hero? And Browder said, I don't think so. Just becomes another way to Q dodge if you don't like the picks. Q dodging bad, need another solution. Yeah, I agree, but also random picking is awful.
Right. He goes on to say that he misread it. The person, reiterates, what's wrong with flagging AFK players with reliever status? And he goes, I'm dumb. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Could work. So clearly, the majority of their concern is laying with Q Dodgers, which I absolutely agree. It's disappointing to wait 6 minutes, then get in a 3-minute draft just to have the last person completely disappear.
Yeah.
So they want to, get you in the game, actually get games played, make sure on their end they're collecting information to make this game better and not seeing, 100 canceled games and thousands of frustrated people who logged off for the night after that.
No, and that makes absolute sense. But something should also be done for AFK picks because
and we just need a ready box.
It's game ruining. A ready box?
Yeah, your queue is ready. Everyone has to, 10 check marks and let's roll.
That's a really good point. Still, someone could log in and then or could hit ready and go in and still not select a hero.
Sure,
that doesn't fix that problem.
Yeah, hopefully they'll just get filtered to the bottom because those people suck. Screw you, right?
That is game ruining. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it doesn't happen to me that often, but when it happens, it just feels terrible.
Right. The important thing is we're not really dealing with levers, which is an amazing advancement in 2015.
Yeah. A question I was very happy to see asked, when will you tell us about Artanis? You promised to show him a bit later after Gamescom. We still have nothing about him. To which Justin Browder said, we are still working on him. Sorry. That's not what I wanted to hear.
No, we were hoping to see more. Right now we see nothing but his official art and some doodles of a skin. So apparently he's a ways off. And he's also coming with Legacy of the Void, which has an announcement for its announcement coming up on the 18th, I believe.
Yeah.
So we don't know when that's happening.
I would still really like to get my physical collector's edition and get the prologue missions and not be completely screwed for buying the most expensive version of the game. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
I hear that.
Thanks.
By the way, have you gotten into Legacy of the Void beta since last patch?
God, no. There's
Oh,
too much other Blizzard stuff going on.
dude, let me blow your mind real quick.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Chrono Boost is gone. Completely.
Wait, what?
Yep. No Mule. Mule is gone completely.
What?
Spawn Larva on Queens is autocast now.
What do you mean? Oh, wait.
You build Queens, they autocast it on nearby hives if they're near one.
Oh my god.
Basically, they took all the junk that was for pro players for you to manage back in your base and got rid of it so we can actually have awesome battles out on the battlefield, which is what fans want to see in the first place. I don't care how amazing your Mule Micro is. I don't care if you're hitting all your Chrono Boost. You're just eking yourself out above that other guy. What I'm here to see is darn battles. It's an awesome change.
Oh my god, I just want to turn this into Micro Starcast for a second.
I just did, so welcome.
That's insane. That's absolutely... Sorry, everybody. Just a quick aside. We really like StarCraft, even if we don't play it that much anymore. That's nuts. I'm not sure how I feel about all of that. I think I'm okay with it all. I think I feel great. I'm pretty sure I feel great. Except that Larva Inject Micro was one of the few things that is attributed to pros that I was actually good at. So that makes me a little bit sad. But hey, whatever.
Well, you still got to make sure you're putting your queen next to the hive so they don't, wander off.
Oh, holy crap, dude. You're blowing my mind. Yeah, I've not been keeping up on StarCraft at all.
It's cool.
All right. Moving on with Dustin Prater tweets. He was also asked, are we supposed to believe that ETC, Stitches, and Sonya are warriors just like Leoric, Johanna, and Muradin? To which Dustin Prater said, not really, no. We probably need more classifications of heroes. Not going to limit hero design to fit 4 categories. Okay. Give us more classifications?
Right, yeah, but then you deal with the quest system. It's something they're still figuring out how they're going to do. I think they're trying to be a little too unique. In this case, they probably should just steal the tagging system that Steam uses to identify all its games and Dota uses. have durable, burst, lane, jungle, and then heroes are made of combinations of those 19 phrases.
Yeah. Which I'm fine. I'm okay with that. And if you have monikers that are shared between heroes, that's fine too. And I think that would make doing daily quests even better because you have a larger stable of heroes to kind of pull from. It's like, because at the moment, it comes down to Tyrande and Tassadar being labeled as support. I don't think they should be, and it really rustles my jimmies, as Kyle loves saying. But at the same time, not a whole lot of supports. There's a support daily. be kind of rough if they weren't labeled support with the current system. But I don't know. This is the kind of thing like I'd love to get a dev on and ask them about, because in my mind it's like it can't be that hard. How hard is it to change some wording and the quest system? It seems super easy, but who knows? Maybe it's one of those things where it's madness. If we changed one of the quests, the game would explode.
Right.
I don't know.
And this is Team 1, remember, so they've always been a little nervous about scaring people away with changes. Whereas you look at something like the Diablo team, granted it's a more of a fun co-op single player kind of game, but those changes are all embraced. Wow, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, Diablo gets a special pass, and I again, armchair developing, I could be so wrong, but I feel like Diablo has it super easy because it's a PvE game, strictly.
Right.
So it doesn't, you can have all kinds of fun. So I just spilt, did I spill some drink? I spilled a little drink. It's fine. We're good.
One for your homies?
Yeah, one for my homies. They got some orange seltzer.
Ooh, fancy.
Trying to keep soda out of the house. It's really hard.
Also, ETC's on this list? I'm not going to put him in with Stitches or Sonya.
No, but I'm not going to put him in with Leoric, Johanna, and Muradin either.
Only because Johanna's in the game, in my opinion.
Really?
If it wasn't for Johanna being able to walk through mosh pits, I think we'd still see ETC every day. Such a huge counterpick. But, who am I to say that? Because also, I was a Zagara against an ETC this week, and you just hold on to Maw and you say, whoop, oh, there it is. Drop him. Just throw him in the Maw every time. It's so easy.
Yeah, that's a really, he's right. That's not the only thing that counters him. You can also...
It's a different game now, and people have completely different understandings, and, maybe I'm just a little in love with the past and all the awesome ETCs I want to see come back.
Yeah, I'm definitely not on the same page as you with ETC. I think he needs some work.
And you were an ETC player, so you probably have a better perspective than I do.
Yes. Yeah, he was my go-to tank there for a while, and I don't think he's even close to the top tanks at the moment. And then finally, another question that was asked was, what do you think about Hero League separated into solo and 2+3 player queues? To which Justin Breder said, I think we either keep what we have or go 1 to 2 or 5. 3 and 4 mans would play quick match and find some friends and go team league.
So this came before the official statement today of the change coming next patch. Clearly, they see numbers that we don't know about, and there's not a lot of 4 and 5 or 3 and 4 stacks out there.
Right. So I don't know. I like that Browder's really getting out there and answering a lot of questions.
Definitely.
Some of them are a little more nebulous than I'd like them to be, but still, I think this is great. This is a much better Team 1 than ye old StarCast days.
Absolutely.
So before we move into emails this week, we're just going to move right into them. We've got a few. Let's thank our patrons, Kyle, over at patreon.com/ITN. They help make these shows happen more than anyone else, so thank you so much to the patrons. This week, thank you to Jacob M., Parker S., Sean, Daryl, and Matthew B. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Really appreciate it. What are we up to now? 226 patrons. You guys be cray-cray. So, and we are in September. So, do we call it? Are we doing a monthly ITN call-in episode? I think we are.
Yes, we made that goal, didn't we?
Yeah, and I was almost positive we were going to dip below it, but we haven't, and it's September. So be on the lookout, patrons, for a post very soon about our call-in episode for the month of September.
Yeah, when we reach our next goal, those will go weekly. That'll be such a cool thing because then we can do the show, and then later in the week, maybe the next day, we can talk to you all with you in the call about what we talked about the previous night. Have sort of like a town meeting kind of thing. It'll be awesome.
Oh, it'll be so fun. So that post probably won't go up until after the weekend, after Kyle and I are both back from our travels, but we'll set a date very soon. Look forward to hearing from you guys, which means I need to start another Skype account. Darn.
Darn free accounts.
Darn free accounts. All right, let's take some emails.
Darkness stopped calling.
Does anyone else hear that buzzing?
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. Our first today comes to us from Dave. And Dave writes, I always seem to be the first member of my team to want to retreat after a successful engagement. We have pushed into the enemy base, and they're starting to respawn when I ping to retreat. Often my team just keeps pushing until they wipe us out. It seems to me that we should all recall and heal up instead of giving them the experience for the kills and free range while we are dead. How do you know when to retreat? Should I stay with the team even if I think we should back out? Thanks a lot. To which I'm pretty sure both of us would agree that is a loaded question.
Yes, it is. But you're doing it right. And sadly, this awful option you mentioned at the very end is correct. It builds camaraderie, dying with all your teammates. So when you all revive together, you might actually be on a better foot. Whereas if you get out solo, no one's going to trust you. No one's going to respond to your pings anymore for some reason, even though you were absolutely 100% right. And you should stay with your team to the very end. That being said, if you are pinging retreat, it's not the most obvious thing in the world. I like to do times. Say 20 seconds. I see 3 down. They're dead for 20 seconds. We have 20 seconds. All up in 5. Just keep hammering that time on them.
Yeah. And this is, of course, we're talking about pickup games. Obviously, if you're in a team game, and especially if you're the shot caller for your team, they should be listening to you.
Right. If you're doing this in Team League, you've got a very different issue, and you all need to sit down, have a powwow, and talk about communication.
Yeah.
Do some trust falls.
Yeah, but a lot of times in pickup games and Quick Match or Hero League, you just kind of have to commit to a bad plan because it's better than not committing to a good one.
Exactly.
Which sucks. I'm absolutely that guy. I'm right there with you, Dave. It infuriates me to no end. When you see the correct thing to be done and you're unfortunately at a 4-1 majority not in your favor. So
right, the most frustrating ones for me are bosses or camps that we all could have gotten together in the time frame we have, but 1 or 2 people disagreed and have pulled the party apart. Even though it wasn't the best plan from the get-go, like, let's follow through with something.
And I know Kyle's vice versa to that also, which is, hey, the entire team's up and we don't know where they are. Let's boss, guys. No, don't do it. And in that is the one scenario where I personally will put my foot down and be like, I'm not coming.
Nope.
We're all going to die. I'm not coming. So baiting is different though.
Sure, but that's a plan, right? And
yeah.
people have to commit to it.
Yeah, someone wants to bait the boss, go for it. Bait that boss. So that's what I would say there. Also, I mean, obviously there are scenarios where it's okay to keep pushing. I mean, if it's later in the game and the spawn timers are longer, keep pushing. If you didn't take hardly any damage and everyone's got mana and your support still has their heroic off of cooldown and it's ready to go whenever, keep pushing. But that's why I said it's kind of a loaded question.
Yep. So call the times for people who aren't messing with them. Constantly call out your mana situation because that's really important. That's why you're getting wiped despite being 2 levels ahead when they do all spawn up.
Yeah.
And then hover in the back. Like, let's get out of here. But don't leave them because that's just bad.
Yep. Our second email today comes to us from Harold, and he says, my question is, at what level of skill and confidence should I jump into Hero League? He went on to continue saying, I do relatively well in Quick Match, but I feel like I've reached a light cap from what it can offer me. On the other hand, I don't feel like a pro. I don't want to be a burden. Should I start investing in Hero League, but risk being a free lunch, or continue to make minor improvements in Quick Match? I always say just go for it.
Yep.
At this point, especially if you're at the point where you're kind of feeling like Quick Match isn't helping you. I am definitely, I mean, you heard me at the top of the show saying Quick Match is kind of dead to me at the moment. I only use it to learn new heroes. If you feel like you know, I would say if you know at least 3 heroes really well, you're probably fine. Yeah, there will be those weird scenarios where all 3 of your top picks aren't going to work out, but I think you'll be just fine, Harold. You sound like you've got it together.
Well, and you're in the ideal situation. Granted, we don't know what that feels like because we already had really set MMRs going into this reset. Not a reset, but the placement matches. Those should help you out a lot. You're going to see wild games in placement matches. You'll probably go against people who are way too skilled for you, be on a team that you think is really bad and maybe you're more skilled from. But ideally, And I want you to write back because I want to hear how this goes just from a fresh account perspective. You'll be placed exactly where you belong, and you should be having fun when you get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's very. I mean, I always say just go for it, but it's a personal call. What are you looking for? I happen to really enjoy the draft process. I don't like getting into a random game where I don't know the battleground and I don't know my comp or the one of my opponents. So I think it's absolutely worth it, and that's what I want to get out of the game. So, I don't know. Good luck to you, Harold. I think you'll do just fine. Jonathan writes in and says, it looks like he has two questions. One, what are the most overrated and underrated heroics in the game? We'll stop there and just answer that.
Okay.
What do you think? I disagree with your first one. I see it here in the notes.
Yeah, overrated? I think Phoenix is overrated, man.
I disagree so much.
I think that it's a fabulous ult. It is always going to do more damage. It zones. I think with time, though, as I mentioned earlier, that people are just going to charge through it or dodge it too easily, and Pyroblast will end up being the preferred pick in the long run.
Zoning is so important to me. I don't care if they dodge through it or don't walk into it. I'm either protecting an area or I'm guiding the battlefield for the rest of my team regardless. Even if I'm not doing damage, I'm doing something with it unless I place it somewhere bad, and that's on me. I love Phoenix. I really like Pyroblast, and I'm taking it more and more, but I still think Phoenix is more of a default pick, whereas Pyroblast depends on what you're going up against.
Absolutely. I'm talking about overrated here, though. Like a talent that if you do not pick it, you will be flamed for repeatedly. When Pyroblast is actually a legit option in some cases.
Oh, okay. I guess it comes
we're
down to
talking Sergeant Hammer. Now, there's no contest there. Napalm Strike gives you a 6-second cooldown ability that does amazing damage, leaves an area effect, and has absurd range. Or you can take the absolute crap that is a 70-second cooldown blunt force gun, and maybe you'll survive long enough to get to level 20 where it becomes okay.
I call it smoking a blunt force gun, because that's what you have to do if you took this talent on purpose.
Man, the power of Orbital, keeping an entire lane, granted, it can really only be the mid lane because it's the only one that's a real straight line in most maps.
Yeah.
But keeping an entire lane completely down and getting that XP for it is pretty cool, but
10 to 19 is super weak.
Yeah.
That's a bad time to be weak.
Right, or you can just, take the good ult and then get even better ult at level 20. 50% increased damage on impact, 75% more range. Something needs to be done there.
I expect to see Blunt Force Gun messed with at some point in the future. And I hope that's how it goes. I hope it's not the other way around. I hope Napalm Strike doesn't get nerfed because it's picked. Because, again, darn it, wrong way to look at it, guys. We're not using Blunt Force Gun because it's bad, not because Napalm Strike is overpowered.
So do you have your own then, or do you just disagree with Phoenix?
I don't have a hard answer to this. Nothing pops into my mind. I'm definitely of the camp where I want Zagars to figure out a way to make Nidus Worm good.
Sure, and that's what I would say is underrated the most, mainly because we're seeing comps that end up with a Zagara and a Zeratul right now, and the two mess each other up repeatedly and have no communication skills.
Yes.
Although in that case, with Void Prison on the field, let's forget Devouring Maw for a quick second. We could have a specialist running around with Nidus Network.
A specialist?
Right, because Zagara's play kind of assassin-y right now.
You know what would be super cool? If the copied version of Zagar from an Avatar could use Zagara's already placed Nidus Worms.
You couldn't back in the day before they got rid of Abathur being able to copy ultimates. What you could do, though, is lay down creep, you still can, and additional Nidus Worms that they could use beyond their maximum once you left.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For a brief time.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty cool.
Gotcha. But no, I feel like there's got to be a Zagara build that utilizes. It would have to be significantly different. I don't know. I want to see it work. Because I also love it when you're trying to retreat and people are chasing you and you can displace them by popping up a Nidus Worm.
there's some cool features in there, blocking tiny little places where people try to wiggle through. They end up getting body blocked, then your tank moves in. Battlefield of Eternity, there could be some amazing Nidus networks hidden in those back lanes where people go and just mess them up with that alone. But I know I'm really digging here. Going to, what would that been? 2012 BlizzCon when I got to play Zagara. Nidus Network did not teleport her at all. In fact, it just spawned broodlings.
Oh, weird.
Which made her, maybe, they're worried that puts her too close to something like an Abathur that's constantly spawning locusts. But being able to put down basically a nest that constantly pushed a lane with reinforcements was a very cool choice.
Yeah.
And the level 20 for the Nidus Network, where you spawn 6 broodlings when you get out, doesn't really work out.
No.
Cool
No,
idea, doesn't
not really.
work out.
Yeah. By level 20, it's not doing a whole lot. Like, if the Nidus Worm did that from the get-go, I think that'd be kind of interesting, because you could use it to help Siege. But at 20, most stuff is dead that you need to Siege. So, I don't
Agreed. Jonathan here goes with Reign of Vengeance for his overrated.
Overrated? Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's underrated because I feel like I see more Valas taking Strafe than Reign of Vengeance, and I love Reign of Vengeance.
Reign of Vengeance is cool, but you're often only going to get one stun off. Granted, you're giving a stun to a character that doesn't have one at all. And also, I would have to disagree with this, only because right now, in the meta, Skeleton King, Entomb, nothing ruins an Entomb like, oh my god, Reign of Vengeance.
Yes, absolutely.
It is so cool to see that perfect line go up and you just go, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. Everyone line up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I love Reign of Vengeance, and it pairs so well with any other stuns. If you see it go off and you're like, no, you ain't done being stunned, sucker, and you just put it down on top of them, they're dead. Like, they're just not going to get away. I like it too much. Stuns are so good. I don't think you can mention a single stun in the game that I don't love.
Now I'm thinking.
I know you are. I'm thinking too. I'm trying to think if I can prove myself wrong.
Probably not.
Yeah, stuns, man. They're too good. They're too damn good. He also says that an underrated heroic is Bloodlust, which I grossly disagree with as well.
Oh, dude. I fought the meta comp this past week. It was so frustrating. I had Leoric, Johanna, Raynor, Rhaegar, and Malfurion. Rhaegar went Bloodlust.
Well, if you have 2 support, yeah, do it.
It was awful. The Raynor did so much damage. Was basically Johanna and Leoric were holding both of Raynor's hands and making him fly every other step, like you see kids at Disney World. Like he was just having the time of his life.
Yes. Now, I don't disagree with Jonathan here in that scenario where you have a second support. But if you are solo supporting as Rhaegar, I cannot condone the taking of Bloodlust when Ancestral Healing saves lives.
I do want to see Bloodlust with Karazim. See what can happen there.
That
Primary
would be
healer
interesting.
Karazim.
That would be interesting. His second
Just equal healing.
Yeah. Jonathan's second question, he says, have you guys noticed the completely underwhelming nature of the level 20 Storm Power talents that upgrade heroics? Do you ever take these talents over the other level 20 talents like Storm Shield, Nexus Frenzy, Bolt Redemption, etc.? I can't remember the last time I say a heroic upgrade, I think you meant I saw a heroic upgrade selected in a pro match. Do you think this is something that should and/or will be addressed? Well, hammers definitely take the level 20 augmentation to Napalm Strike. It's kind of great.
Sure. Well, I mean, what are your other choices here? Fury of the Storm, which does that chain attack against Mercs and Mercenaries. You already do so much damage against them. No point there. And then Nexus Frenzy. That's kind of good. But then again, you've given yourself a 6-second cooldown, which completely avoids, I think, what Jonathan's talking about here. Because if you take something even like Force Wall that has a really short cooldown, augmenting it further is a great idea. But there's also a 100% free spell you could also take in that case that gives you a different button for a different situation. And that's, I think, always going to be preferable in most cases. There are the extremes. Abathur is one. He has some amazing things, Hive Mind being one of them. Granted, oh my god, I just ruined my own statement, didn't I? Hive Mind is not a level 20 augment of a level 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. So no one, deep tunnel, maybe. Nah. Everyone just goes locust nests or hive mind.
Yeah. I will say, for the most part, it feels like he's right. As a vast majority. I like double wormhole for Brightwing. You know, you can cast Blink Heal a second time on a different target within 2 seconds without consuming a charge. That's cool.
I got one. Tychus Focus Diodes. It's his drill upgrade that gives it absurd range.
Oh, yeah. No, that is a really good point. So
that one.
There are some outliers, but I'd say that's a blanket statement I'm comfortable agreeing with.
Yeah, it's because it's that extra button, and they're always free spells. There's no reason not to take them.
Yeah.
And why would you invest something in your ultimate that may get whiffed when you could have something else to cover it up?
Yeah. There's just too many good things, man. Nexus Frenzy's insane. Bolt of the Storm saves lives. So does Storm Shield. It's tough. It's and we've already gotten rid of Resurgence of the Storm, which was the original just auto pick.
Yeah. Oh, and let's not talk about Rewind either.
Oh yeah, Rewind, man. It's good. It's damn good talent. So, but that's a good point, Jonathan. I'm not sure. We'll see what the future holds on that. But
I've seen a decent amount of pro games, and I'm talking about, more casual pro games, of course, not the ones we've seen recently, where they've taken the level 20 augmentation for Tranquility, Serenity, increases the healing by 25% and also restores 5 mana a second. I don't think they take it for the mana, though.
No, that's just a huge upgrade in healing. So it's fine. I support. I feel like maybe across the board, there's a decent amount of things that they can take, because a lot of times it just makes your heal, your life-saving heal, even better, which is fine. It's really nothing wrong with taking that. So, anyways, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Again, send your emails to itncast@gmail.com if you want to get into the email segment. Thanks again to our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN. Thank you guys so much for the support. If you are leaving us iTunes reviews, we really appreciate those. This week, thank you to Balrog Fan, Petty1444, Mr. Stroke, Guinness 1000, who says, "You don't take yourselves too seriously, and you have hit the sweet spot of nerd self-deprecation, also known as the Conan O'Brien level." That it might be the nicest thing anyone has ever told me. I love Conan O'Brien.
Man, poor Conan O'Brien. I've been watching a bunch of old movies recently, and he was just getting trashed on for years. I'm glad he's found his little niche.
Love Conan O'Brien. And ironically, we got a 5-star review from user Very Disappointed. So, thank you, Very Disappointed. Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and our Patreon producer, Declan H. You can see more about this and all the other amove shows on amove.tv. You can email us at itncast@gmail.com. Catch us live on Thursday nights, usually. We did it early this week, but next Thursday we'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/AmoveTV and also on alphageekradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at ITNcast, on Facebook /AmoveTV, and ITNpodcast.reddit.com. Thanks to Brian Griffith for our intro music. Check out his work at briangriffithmusic.com. And Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time on the Amove stream, twitch.tv/AmoveTV, doing solo Q&A. We recorded this one early, so it's not up yet, but it will be for everyone listening at home. Solo Q&A 15 is up. I play Skeleton King every single game. Check it out if you're wanting to learn him. I had a great time doing that. Check out KyleFerguson.com, where you can sign up for Heroes Lessons. I was able to help out a couple people this week. It was pretty sweet getting to see them improve over the course of that hour, and looking forward to helping out more out there. And then that's it. Follow me on Kyle Ferguson on Twitter. Yeah, at Kyle Ferguson.
Do it. You can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. You can also find my graphic design work over at nomoonart.com. And you can find me on The Angry Chicken, which just hit episode 100 and then promptly moved up to 101 because we did the patron call-in episode yesterday. But that 100th episode, it was pretty dope, guys. Go check it out. Frodan, Ben Brode, Karma, and of course the three of us wackos on there. Just having a good old time for more than 2 hours. Go check it out.
If only he did the head swirl thing while wearing the chicken mask, I think we would have just created the best meme ever.
Oh man, someone gift it.
I saw it.
There's a GIF out there. Well, it's a WebM, so it doesn't play as nice. I wish it was an actual GIF, but hey, whatever. I want just a looping GIF of him just putting on the mask, just really quick, just over and over and over. Anyways, just because we aren't running ads at the top of the show doesn't mean that you still can't use these codes. Use the code ITN over at doghousesystems.com and you'll get a 120 gigabyte solid-state drive upgrade on your gaming rig. You can also use ITN over at tweakedaudio.com to get 30% off and free shipping on your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds. Every time those codes are used, you get a deal. The show gets supported, so check them out. Tweakedaudio.com and doghousesystems.com. Use the code ITN. That'll do it for this week's episode of Into the Nexus. Kyle, have fun at your wedding. I'll have fun at Dragon Con, and we will see you all next week. Good luck and have fun.
Take care.